The thing goes grrrr, pop, 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 pop. Skitty keep pop, pop, and the poop, poop, boom. Skia.
So guys, it's fermagic.
It's uigo.
So today we'll talk about the new Epic Quest character, Dr.Doom. Now, we have two different setups on Dr.Doom this time. On my account, I put a immune to God Brick, max HP, 100%, 160% damage proc on him. And on uigo's account, we have authority on him. So we want to use somewhat a more offensive setup and a defensive setup to see how he will perform in PvP and PvE scenarios.
Now let's just first talk about his skills. We can see that his skills has a lot of different effects. Basically, each of them has a different kind of effects instead of like Strive, which has like either fracture or incapacitation on his skills. Doom has variety of effects. Now on skill 1, he has an ignore defense for 20% for 2 seconds and a buff. Now for second skill is incapacitation and fracture, and then you can remove special effects, so like the ones on Karnak, which he removes like time freezing or recovery. Now in his third skill, you got an invincible for 5 seconds and a accumulative true damage, so like Sharok's third skill, Vanguard Lance. Now for his 4-star passive, it is same as Jin's, which he basically revives with 100% of his HP. Now for his 4th skill, he can ignore the target's dodge rate by 50% for 3 seconds. And for 5th skill, it has bind, stun, and recover 50% of his max HP. And his leadership is like other Jin or Strives, remove all debuffs.
Now, something special about his 4th skill is that his 4th skill deals a huge amount of damage because it's an energy damage 500% of energy attack. It's kind of rare we see such a high number. It's usually in the 200s or the mid 300s. So 500% is quite a high number. Combining with the fact that the skill can ignore the dodge rate, you can see later in the clips that Dr. Doom kind of uses this to one-shot many characters. Moving on to his timeline battle performance, you can see from multiple clips we show. The first part of the clips are Dr. Doom with the damage proc, and the later part of the clips are Dr. Doom with the invincible obelisk. Even though that in the clips we found, in the clips that we recorded, Dr. Doom with the damage proc seems to have a better performance, higher win rate overall, but we also think that Dr. Doom should have an invincible obelisk to increase the
survivability,
yeah.
Because that his skills, there are only 2 iframes on his skills, like the 4th skill and the 5th skill. So, and majority of the time he just uses his 1st and 2nd skills, like the first 10 seconds. So we'll think that invincible will be a better option for him.
Because Dr. Doom right now is kind of like when Strive was first introduced. Everyone have Strive at level 60, so Strive really shined when he got upgraded to level 70 and his gears upgrade to 25, because at that point Strive is not easily being one-shotted by other characters, but then he can certainly one-shot many characters. So we think that Doom will have a similar ability in level 70 and geared at plus 25, even with an invincible obelisk. So we think that for everybody out there, Doom should have a sort of a defensive obelisk.
And Doom also has the added advantage of having 2 lives instead of just 1 for Strive. And even in level 60, Dr. Doom also has a higher stats than Strive at level 70 with plus 25 gear. So you can see that basically in all categories, Dr. Doom is a superior version of Strive, kind of. Now on to some PvE performance for Dr. Doom. So we tested it on World Boss and Shadowland, but Shadowland's a joke, so we just mentioned World Boss. Now I tried it on Call of Obsidian Stage 20, which is a kind of a low stage for all those PvE players out there. So I played with Dr. Doom without an obelisk, and it took me 4 minutes to actually take down Call of Obsidian, but with 0 threats towards his life. And his 5th skills basically saved my ass a lot of time.
I think that's because we're not a good PvE player. Our World Boss raid level is pretty low, so assuming that you have a World Boss raid level of around the high 200s, having a offensive set on Dr. Doom, you should be able to clear a pretty high stage. I think around 40 to 50, I think, for Call Obsidian. But I don't think Dr. Doom is really used to clear World Boss Ultimate. I think those are more for Cable, for Luna Snow, for other characters. But Dr. Doom should be a more PvP-oriented character.
And we feel that in Alliance Battle Extreme, he will probably perform like Anti-Man, which has probably upwards of 1.5 mil or 1.6 mil score, because some of his skills are kind of hard to cancel for Dr. Doom. So we think that he won't like top Anti-Man for ABX, but he'll still perform well for you.
Yeah, I mean, at level 70, there might be some really high skilled players that can score higher, but we think that the score difference wouldn't be high. For ordinary players, you might have score more 100k or 200k, but the difference wouldn't be huge. But then Dr. Doom in a PvP scenario would be definitely a must-have. So moving, yeah,
he's more geared towards PvP instead of PvE.
Like he can do everything, but then I think he's more geared towards PvP as well.
So like the old Jean Grey.
Yeah. So moving on to the preferable build, we think that for the Urus, you should go for 8 energy attack Urus, 8 HP Urus, and a full ignore defense. Trying to fill the ignore defense as much as possible. So if you don't have ignore defense, then put some ignore defense Urus on him. And then for ISO set, Power of Angry Hulk, Overdrive,
basically
Hawkeye.
an offensive set.
Yeah, it depends on what you need. Power of Angry Hulk is the best in my opinion. And then for custom gear, if you have the best CDP for him should be Authority, Obelisk, then maybe ignore Immunoguard Break, and then ignore Dodge, Invincible.
So to conclude, we feel that the potential for Dr. Doom is huge in terms of PvP, but for PvE it's just not very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't disappoint as an Epic Quest character. I think when most of the player base upgrade Dr. Doom to level 70, then we can finally see what he is truly capable of.
But he can already do a lot in PvP scenarios at level 60, one-shotting.
Yeah, so if you're a PvP character, you have a PvP player, then Dr. Doom is a must-have. So thank you for watching this video. See you next time.
Bye.